Well, hi everyone. Welcome to Aging Untold Extra. I'm Christina Williams.
And I'm Sasha Bray. We are happy that you're here. Every week we join you for a conversation about the topics that were discussed on Aging Untold throughout the week. That, of course, is a new show. The ladies have roundtable chats about the ups and downs of aging.
And we listen and then connect with you and try to give you some more information and some local resources that really might be able to help you or your family as they age. Well, this week we're talking about how to interact with your loved one who's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia, and what you can consider if you're pre-planning a funeral, as well as a program in BG aimed at senior well-being.
Some great things on tap this week. Aging Untold Extra starts now.
Aging Untold Extra, sponsored by Area Office on Aging of Northwest Ohio.
Well, as we age, there are plenty of people out there battling cognitive decline. In fact, the CDC estimates there are more than 6.7 million people in the U.S. living with Alzheimer's disease, and that number is actually expected to double by the year 2060.
One of the biggest challenges can be watching a loved one lose their memory, start to forget things, and you might be struggling with how to navigate that challenge.
Well, I spoke with the Alzheimer's Association about some of the best practices and what you should keep in mind as your loved one progresses through that disease. Well, this can be a really hard topic. We have Pam Myers with us from the Alzheimer's Association here in Ohio. So, Pam, if you have a loved one who's starting to have trouble remembering things and you already know that they have dementia, how should you handle it?
I think it's important that you don't, chastise the person in any way or correct them or any of that stuff. It's really important that you just sort of roll with them and nod or acknowledge or agree, and then just move on. Because we always tell our families, you have to step into that person's reality. They can't step into yours. And so I think one of the things that we notice with families and caregivers sometimes, Christina, is that they want to correct and they want to, make their point or be right or whatever, and it just usually doesn't work. The situation can go south pretty quickly.
Sure. And we know that even with like early onset or other situations out there, when it comes to your brain, things can happen really quickly. So does part of that play into, I think it's easier said than done, right? Because loved ones want to remember the person that they might have known even just a few months ago.
Absolutely. And you think about it, you just think about even for people that don't have any cognitive issues, sometimes we lose our keys or we forget somebody's names or, we might turn the wrong way down a street when we're going somewhere, and how frustrated we get. Think about if that was your reality, if you're trying really hard to remember something or people are giving you the vibe that, you should know this or you should remember this. Think how hard and frustrating that must be for the person. And that's why we always encourage people, step into their reality, roll with it, redirect if you need to, and just go with the flow.
There's a video that's been trending recently. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it. It's a woman presumably sitting with her mom, and they're sitting in the front seat of a car, and they're just dancing. And all of a sudden, her mom says, "Am I okay?" She kind of stops, and she has dementia. And then the daughter says, "No, Mom, you're great." And she said that she's just taking the approach of, "I'm not really even going to address it. I'm just going to let her live her life and enjoy the time I have."
That's right. And just think how much more calm and relaxed they both looked, because that's the way to do it. Just live your life, be in the moment, enjoy what's happening in front of you. That's good advice for all of us.
Probably, you bring up the thing about even losing your keys or going down the wrong road. And I'm thinking, okay, of us in sound, mind, and body, when someone else says, "Oh, why can't you find them?" or "You did that wrong," that's annoying.
That's right. That's right.
Do you have any other advice for people out there who really might be struggling? Because I know you're in this field, right? It's easy for you to give this advice because you're around it day in and day out. For somebody else who's just dropped into this situation, it's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy, Christina. And so it's really important, if you find yourself in this situation, that you give yourself a break once in a while. I think that we know our dementia caregivers, they have a lot of stress. Many times they're caring for their loved ones, 24/7. And the thing that I also, stress with our caregivers and our families is that this is a progressive disease, unfortunately. So some of the strategies and things that are working today, they may not work tomorrow. And so it's always just to keep yourself educated, but also give yourself a break. Build in some opportunities for you to step away from caregiving for a little bit because it is a ongoing, part of your life and it can be very draining both physically, mentally, and spiritually.
I know back in the day you offered some services with that. I think a lot of people feel guilty if they step away, even if it's for something as simple as a lunch out or a walk in the park by themselves. They think that they can't do that. And you're saying you should.
Absolutely. It's a way that you're able to refresh yourself and step away and take a deep breath. I mean, again, think about how we give advice to other people. It's like, are you taking a break? And this is where I always tell families, Christina, build that village. So if you are feeling guilty about leaving your loved one, who could maybe you get to come over and stay with them while you step out for lunch, or maybe you go take a walk with another friend, or just do something for your own mental and spiritual health. It's really important. And I'll tell you, the person that benefits from that, not only the caregiver, but the person you're caring for, they benefit too. So I always remind people of that. You're not only doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your loved ones.
And before we let you go, you talk about a lot of those emotions. There's a lot that caregivers go through. That could be, with something as simple as having to repeat yourself or thinking you have to, frustration. There could be just tiredness. And I think that depression probably goes hand in hand too, because you're seeing your loved one decline and there's nothing you can really do.
Absolutely. We know, Christina, that our dementia caregivers suffer more depression than other types of, folks that are caring for different diseases. And we talk about that too with our families. It's like you're grieving a loss, but the final loss hasn't occurred yet. And it's really hard because you are losing that person a little bit every day as you're caring for them. And so again, all the more important to, realize that you're going to have those feelings and that they're normal and that it's okay. And it's important then to take that time for yourself.
Well, Pam, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. If you want to get connected to any caregiver support information, we will link the Alzheimer's Association website so that you can get connected to some of those resources. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
One thing that really stuck with me that Pam brought up is the fact that you had a woman who was restless every night at 10 o'clock, and it was just because she was a night nurse. In her brain, she was still thinking, yeah, I had to go to work. And really the best thing that you can do is what she suggested. Just kind of let it ride, go with the flow of wherever their brain is to give them that bit of peace.
Yeah, reduce the distress. All right, great advice. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Your next chapter can be your most rewarding. Leading Later in Life is a program designed to help seniors grow, connect, and give back right here in Lucas County. You'll meet local leaders, build new friendships, explore meaningful volunteer opportunities, and enjoy exclusive tours of businesses and organizations, plus a guided look at the history that makes our community special. For more information, call or email the Area Office on Aging today. Scan the QR code to enroll now.
Well, this week you heard the ladies discussing funeral pre-planning. It can be kind of uncomfortable, even a frightening conversation to have.
But it is something that can save your family a lot of stress, emotional and financial, when the time comes. I talked with a local funeral pre-planner to lay out some simple advice to help you get started.
Many people feel it's really scary and daunting, kind of uncomfortable to plan for their own funeral. But why is this so important?
It's really important to plan ahead to take that burden off your family. Once you pass away, that's going to be one of the hardest things that they ever have to go through. So this allows them the opportunity to grieve in a more positive way, and gives them some clarity and peace of mind so that they're not worrying about making these decisions rather than being able to go through that grieving process and take care of their family that way. It's a huge, huge gift that you can give to your family.
What might be the right age? Someone might say, well, I'm only in my 40s, I'm only in my 50s. Do I need to start doing it now? Even younger than that? Is there a right age to begin this?
say there's a right age or a wrong age. I would say once people start hitting, that retirement era of their life, it makes a little bit more sense. And I mean, if you truly feel one way and it's very important for you to see things out, and you know what that is, I don't think it's ever too early by any means, but I would argue probably closer to retirement age and up is going to be the main focus.
How long does the general process take? Is this something someone can do in one afternoon, or does it take a long time?
I think that it surprises most people that it's not as long or of a drawn out process as they might think that it is. Typically, we recommend sitting down with one of our advisors. The appointments usually take from an hour, hour and a half, depending on, what you choose and things like that. But it's a pretty simple process, and we can put everything in place and just have it all written down so it's ready for your family when that time comes.
Obviously, cost is an enormous concern for many people. You've probably heard funerals are expensive, thousands and thousands of dollars. Is that the case? Does it have to be the case?
It can be. It can be as nice or as simple as you want it to be. We have meaningful options that would fit any budget. And as far as the pre-planning aspect goes, if you choose to pre-plan and prepay for your funeral, you can lock in today's costs. Obviously, we all know things aren't getting cheaper. So that's locking in today's costs. And we also offer payment options. So we can do payment options ranging from 3 years all the way up to 20 years, meaning that there's something that can usually fit your budget in that range as well to get that taken care of so there's no financial burden for your family later.
If someone has never planned a funeral before, what are some of the things that the pre-planner will sit down and go through with them?
Yeah, so we put together what we call a final wishes organizer, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's pen to paper, everything written down easy in one place. It's going to be your vital statistics, so your name, birthday, mother's maiden name, all the information that we need for the death certificates, as well as specific funeral arrangements that you might have, whether it be a certain place, a certain time, if you want a mass at church, cremation, burial, all of that is written down in one place.
And then what are some of the items that they will pick through where they're making choices? For instance, a coffin.
Absolutely. We have things from very simple cremations where people don't have services to your full-blown 3-day funerals, mass, cemetery, all of that. There's definitely something for everyone. I kind of jokingly say the new normal is that nothing is normal, and everybody kind of has their own idea of what that looks like. And I think it's a really cool thing, and it's really exciting to be able to tailor that to everyone's experience.
So once somebody has done all this planning, the next very important component I would imagine is making sure your family knows all of those things. What is the process of keeping that record? Let's say you're making this, 10, 20 years in advance. Where does all of that paperwork go? How do you make sure your family knows?
Yes, this is very, very important to just talk to your family, have the conversation. I think a lot of people don't want to have the conversation because it is a scary topic, which I do understand, but it's more scary when there's nothing planned and they don't know what to look for. So if you can take the opportunity, we can go through that final wishes organizer together. You have a nice bright folder that says, hey, this is what you need when the time comes, and they can pull it out and they know what funeral home at least to call. We would have it on file as well. And then we can walk them through the process. If you complete the pre-planning process from there, it's very, very simple. And essentially it's flipping on light switches. We can just start planning and make sure everything goes as smooth as possible for your family.
Anything else that you would advise us to include here for people, let's say they're just maybe now starting to think about it, how that works?
I just think it's really important, like I said, to have the conversation and document exactly what you're looking for. That way there's no uncertainty when that time comes. If you can prepay for it and take care of the financial aspect for your family, that is huge as well. But just merely starting the conversation. Sometimes people don't know what they don't know. So coming into the funeral home and just walking yourself through that process is half of the battle. And then from there, it gets a lot easier.
I'm sure you've had people come in where there wasn't a pre-planned funeral. How much harder is that experience for those folks?
It's a lot harder. And I mean, I can say even from personal experience that you're in a head fog. You don't know all the right answers. You're making decisions in a very, very quick time period. There's about 125 different decisions that have to be made within a 36-hour period. So a lot of things are coming at you really, really quickly. So this is an opportunity, even if you can't knock it all out, that we can get some of that taken care of. That way your family isn't guessing. They don't feel guilty about making bad decisions. They know quite literally in black and white what you're looking for and how to proceed with things.
Stephanie did explain that you don't have to prepay for your funeral. Let's say you're younger, maybe there's a life insurance policy that you intend to use to cover the cost, and that's fine. You can still pre-plan all of the details so your family doesn't have to worry about that, and then they will note that the insurance is going to pay the cost whenever the time comes.
Well, I'll tell you what, just a little bit of peace of mind there, getting all of those things in order, that is a key step that just helps your family members when you're gone.
That's right.
We'll be right back. Next month, the Wood County Committee on Aging is kicking off a new wellness initiative for seniors. It's called WISE, which stands for Wellness Initiative for Senior Education.
Simple enough. The goal is to help you meet new people, learn a bit about the aging process, and also how to make healthy lifestyle decisions. This week, I got to talk with one of the organizers, Lisa Myers. She's the Director of Social Services. To learn more, take a listen.
Is this a new program?
It's actually not a new program. It was originally developed by the New Jersey Prevention Network. It is an evidence-based program, and they put together the curriculum for it. And it covers all topics of wellness related to aging.
And tell me how this is broken up, because I understand there are multiple sessions.
Yes, it is broken up into 6 weeks. So 6 sessions, 6 classes, we call them. They're usually about an hour and a half each, and each class covers a different wellness topic for older adults.
So give me an example of some of the topics that you guys will be covering.
Some of the topics covered in the WISE classes are understanding changes associated with aging. We talk a lot about aging sensitivity. We talk about diversity. We also talk about preventing medication misuse, and we do also cover topics like substance misuse in older adults. We cover a little bit about depression and education about depression in older adulthood, and then just some general stress management.
And who is the program open to?
It's open to primarily older adults here in Wood County. We do serve those that are age 60 and over, so we're offering at our senior center in Perrysburg. You don't have to necessarily be a 60-year-old. We do take, anyone's open to our programming, but it's primarily geared towards older adults, 60 plus.
Any cost associated with it?
There is no cost associated with it. We do just ask people to call and register. We did receive a grant when my staff and I went through the training. We were able to receive a grant to kind of implement the program. So we are also kind of offering some incentive, like a gift card incentive. We offer refreshments and, just anything to get people enticed to come and hear this really great information and learn all about the wellness topics provided.
Do you find that maybe seniors are wanting to get some questions answered? They want some help, but maybe they're hesitant to reach out to you guys?
I definitely think the classes opens up a really good conversation for older adults. We did hold one session of classes last year, shortly after we went through the training. And one really neat thing about it was there is a lot of small groups, breakouts. And so people are working together, coming up with concepts, thinking about, kind of aging questions or talking about their own aging processes, and then group sharing with the class. And so it's a really cool experience to see people come together and talk about sometimes some, tough subjects, but sharing openly and then kind of making friendships out of it as well. So it's a win-win.
I would think that that socialization is actually a great component of this because we know that as people age, perhaps if they don't have family or children or anybody around, isolation is a pretty big concern.
Absolutely, yes. So this definitely is a way to make connections, and also to talk about, their own view of aging and how they think they're doing with the process and hearing from other people. I think is always a helpful therapeutic type of feedback as well. To know that you're not, the only one feeling that way, or oh, like this person has had a similar experience to me. So there was a lot of that happened in the first group. So we're hoping that continues on in the future.
As you were listening to that first group talking, was there anything that you heard them discuss that you were surprised? Like, oh, maybe we need to talk more about this?
I think one of the really cool things that came out of it was, there's a whole subject on this aging sensitivity and this idea of aging and, how in society, typically it's a bad thing. It's kind of portrayed more like you don't want to age, right? But it was really cool for them to kind of talk that through and create their own positives of aging, and really focus that really to be the focus, kind of to counteract everything they might be thought about aging thus far, right? So that was really neat. They kind of come up with a motto at the end of the class on their positive aging. So the class came up with this really neat motto, and yeah, it was a cool experience to see them, have that positive light on it.
What is the most frequent thing you hear from them that helps shape the programs that you offer, the help that you want to give? Is there one particular concern or something they talk about?
The one thing is just continuing that social connectedness. I think that's really important, especially when maybe someone, is more isolated. I think it's keeping that conversation going, keeping them connected to peers, to the senior center, and just trying to provide programs that will bring them in through our doors, that make them want to come and have that social connection. I think that's one of the main things that we see.
If you are interested, you can find the phone number that you need to register on 13abc.com. And you do want to try to do that by April 8th. They're trying to get sort of a count of how many people will be in the session. If you can't make this round, they are actually looking to do another one in August, and that one will be in Bowling Green.
That sounds great, and I think it's a nice way to connect. I love that idea. We'll be right back.
Your next chapter can be your most rewarding. Leading Later in Life is a program designed to help seniors grow, connect, and give back right here in Lucas County. You'll meet local leaders, build new friendships, explore meaningful volunteer opportunities, and enjoy exclusive tours of businesses and organizations, plus a guided look at the history that makes our community special. For more information, Call or email the Area Office on Aging today. Scan the QR code to enroll now.
Well, you've heard the phrase laughter is the best medicine. It can be a great form of stress release, and that's, of course, no joke.
Today, we're introducing you to a senior in Michigan who is inspiring her friends with a healthy dose of humor. Here's reporter Tisha Powell.
4 senior citizens walk into a community center. And this time, they're the ones telling the jokes.
Who wants to go next?
Every Tuesday morning, seniors gather for an hour-long laugh fest called What's So Funny? Groans, guffaws, and rapid-fire punchlines all included.
The sailboat won the race, but it was obviously cheating. Everyone could see it was rigged. Oh.
At the head of the table is 81-year-old Judy Wattenberg. She started the program 8 years ago for the seniors she calls elderly orphans, people who may not have family close by.
And you have to help because you're connecting with somebody.
Aging Untold expert Amy O'Rourke says that connection and the physical act of laughing can matter more in life, especially during tough times.
If I can see the levity, it helps me handle myself more stable in an emotionally adverse situation. And if you can find the funny in it, it helps you emotionally kind of get your system used to the fact that you're going through something really challenging.
Pirate walks into a bar with a paper towel on his head. Bartender says, "What's with the paper towel?" Pirate replies, "Arr, I got a bounty on me head."
O'Rourke says meetups like this can be a real tool against isolation because it's not just entertainment, it's routine and belonging.
Even an introvert needs that intimate closeness with another person and get themselves emotionally opened up a bit, especially if you can be vulnerable.
When you make a joke and people start to smile, it's the best thing in the world.
Because in the end, it's all about feeling good. Tisha Powell, 13 Action News.
All right, that wraps it up for Aging Untold Extra for this week. Remember, we want to hear from you. We're getting started. This is a brand new endeavor for all of us.
Yeah.
So we want to hear what you want to know more about, what stories you want to hear about.
And guess what? You can email us. You can also call us. Please reach out. And thank you to all of those who have already done that. If you have an idea or a topic that you would like us to discuss, or maybe you need more answers about, that's what we're here for on this Aging Untold Extra. Please send us those emails. Like I said, we also have that phone number set up if email's not your thing so that we can hear from you.
We look forward to doing that, and we'll see you next week on Aging Untold Extra.
Aging Untold Extra, sponsored by Area Office on Aging of Northwest Ohio.